they say the unofficial start of the PGA Tour season is at Torrey Pines in San Diego. And if last week was the start of the PGA Tour season, we are here for it. Welcome into another edition of Cash Out with the Coaches. Jonathan Coachman here. Travis Fulton is there. We are powered by Sports Pub Media. Real quick, don't forget, wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever, give us a like, subscribe, leave us a comment. We're growing the brand and growing Sports Pub Media. So let us know what you want in the show. But Travis, we've got so much to get to that we decided not to have a guest this week because it's about me and you. We'll get to our picks in a little bit, but we got to first look back at everything that happened last week. Patrick Reed dominating the field, winning by 5, but that wasn't even the story. I know you and I kind of align with our thought process on the fact that he's good for the tour, and that may be it. What are your thoughts about last week?
What are you talking about? What happened? I didn't say. Patrick Reed, more smoke. That's all it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just more smoke. Another line item underneath the Patrick Reed column. And he didn't break a rule, of course, as the tour deemed. But man, was he fast up to that golf ball? Did he control the environment? Did he control the narrative? So much to the point that when the official came up there, he was even confused. He was like, where the hell is the ball?
It's over there.
I mean, he's a professional. I hate to say it. He is a professional at creating that environment and bending the rules. We've seen it so many times, Coach. We've seen it so many times. He takes advantage of it. He knows how to do it, and he did it. But fortunately, it was a 5-shot win. It didn't take away from that. Okay, you take one stroke, you penalize him there or 2, whatever, right? He still wins by 3 or 4. His short game is ridiculous. One of the best in the game, full display at Torrey Pines. But I'll tell you, it's going to catch up, Coach. It's going to catch up to him, and he's going to get that penalty or he's going to get that DQ. I got to ask you, though, did it affect the way you think that people were betting him there through the weekends into Sunday?
It cost me cash. It cost me cold, hard cash because I went into Sunday because I like to pick round-by-round matchups too. And so Carlos Ortiz was like plus 120. And I thought in my head, Patrick Reed might be in his own head for Sunday. So I bet against him for that round. Not only did he stuff it down my throat because Ortiz was terrible on Sunday, but he also showed me that it doesn't matter to him. And he's the classic heel. And I bring up the wrestling term. That the more you get on him, the better he plays. And I also found it kind of funny because I've told this to the tour, and I'm calling this event this week for PGA Tour Live. I've said these players have got to be more entertaining because it's better for the game. And stop complaining about other players. Worry about yourself. Hearing Xander say he's protected by the tour, hearing Lanto say it pisses us off. Enough. This dude's great for the game.
Yep.
And I'm not even talking about whether he stretches the rules or not. Maybe these guys should try to be a little bit more entertaining. And then maybe Titleist or Callaway or any of these companies will call and say, would you like to be a brand ambassador for us? But until that happens, I don't want to hear about what Patrick Reed does because people are talking about it. And I saw you on one of your shows. You said you got a notification from Fox News or something like that.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, I did. I got a notification from 2 platforms. The only time I got a notification from these 2 was only from Tiger. That's it. And I got 2. Now, we're not advocating that you go out and you cheat and you bend the rules to make yourself polarizing. But at the end of the day, and I've said this, and I've taken some heat from it on social media, like he's tarnishing the game. He's not tarnishing the game.
God.
Give me a break.
My gosh.
He's not tarnishing the game. I don't advocate what he does. In fact, we just opened up. I think he is fast and loose with the rules. There's been a lot of players that like that, but you know what makes him relevant more than anything in addition to that? He embraces it, number 1. And number 2, Coach, he wins. He wins.
And number three, he doesn't apologize.
And number 3 doesn't apologize. That's what I'm saying. He owns it. He owns it.
Yeah.
And he wins, and he won by 5. He beat their ass, Coach.
Yes, he did.
And it's stinging. It's bubbling up. I'm fascinated. We're probably going to see him again at the Genesis. Right? We're going to probably see him at the Genesis. He defends the WGC. He's going to come to the Players. Oh, and by the way, the U.S. Open, Torrey Pines.
Yeah, and I keep a because we're relatively new into this golf betting world, so I have like a journal that after every tournament I give my takeaways from that particular tournament. And Sunday, I was good for 3 days. I was awful on Sunday. My takeaway is next year when you and I are doing this show for that tournament, that when I head into Sunday, I'm going to take guys that are grinders. I'm going to take guys that have great short games, and I'm going to take guys that have strong heads, because some weak sauce showed up on Sunday in the name of Rory, Rahm, all these guys blowing up on the back nine. But a couple did not. And they were the ones that ended up coming through, Xander, Patrick Reed. And so it was a really good day for some, not so good for others. But
and my boy, top 20, Tony, who can defeat?
I'm telling you right now, we may have to. Well, we don't have to give him any money. He's just stacking cash, but he's got to start going to see a sports psychologist, because Amanda Balionis on the broadcast, and I said that, it's not like I'm talking out of school, but he comes off after just hitting in the water on 18. The first question she says is, "So let's go back to 11." What do you mean go back to 11? He was at 10 under par in second place and put it in the drink.
Yeah.
That's what you ask him about. But I'm not there. It's not my job. If it was, that's what I would have done. But let's spin it forward now.
Let's go.
Notoriously, this is one of the most fun tournaments of the entire year. Most years, they have over 500,000, 600,000, 700,000 fans. This week, 5,000 each day. It's going to be a completely different look, a completely different feel. But tell people you used to live there. This TPC Scottsdale course so well. Educate us on what type of player plays well here.
Right down the road there, Scottsdale Road, place called Cracker Jacks. That's where I got my start in teaching. Cracker Jacks, Saturday super clinics, $99, 3 hours, and a free hot dog. That was 22
free hot dog.
years ago. Back to Waste Management, Phoenix Open, TPC Scottsdale. Par 71. I've been there many times. This golf course is really fascinating to me. I mean, it really is. And it's a golf course that we're going to see this week, Coach. It's going to play completely different than what we saw last week. Torrey Pines South, huge golf course, long, wet, soft conditions into the greens. The greens really didn't have a lot of lightning in them. Now we're coming to the desert. We're coming to a place where the fairways are going to be running. The ball is going to be bouncing. The greens are a little bit firmer, very fast greens, and in that 72 to 7,300 range. You look at the winners here, right? And you look at the people that have done well here. The big names prevail, Coach. As you know, Webb Simpson last year beat our boy Finau. Gosh, that one still, I don't even know how he lost that one. Ricky Fowler back in 19. There's Woodland in 18. Matsuyama, your boy, back-to-back. Koepka, and these are some big names, right? Mickelson won back in 13. So the bigger names prevail, which kind of suggests, you need kind of the whole package here, right?
Yes.
And distance certainly plays a factor here on this golf course. You go to the model, you look at what has done where and how it kind of weighs out. I tell you, strokes gained putting in years past is a little bit higher than strokes gained approach. I haven't seen that very often.
Interesting.
Strokes gained putting has probably just nudged ahead a little bit here this week than strokes gained approach. And we know strokes gained approach is always right there as one of the top statistics. The greens, when you look at them, they say Bermuda, but they're not your traditional Bermuda here. You've got that overseed bent. You've got like the POA trivia. It's not a Bermuda like we know Bermuda. Perfect conditions. They're usually a little firmer, and they're going to run out. You got to get that guy that can handle those fast-paced greens, right? And ball striking a premium. You got to hit a good shot into these greens and control the spin, right? Last week, you just hit anything in there and it hits a green, it stops. It was so soft.
Yeah.
So, putting's there. And then you got the ball striking. And then right below that, you've got off the tee. And that's where that distance factor, I think, plays in here. You're going to see the longest drives on the PGA Tour than you've certainly seen all year. And it's in like the top 2 or 3 throughout the entire season. You're going to see some big drives here. They're going to be in the air a long time, and they're going to hit, and they're going to run out for a long ways as well. And then at the bottom, strokes gained around the green. Around the green, way up last week. We talked about it, right? Remember I said it's moved way up this week.
You did. You were right, especially Sunday. Sunday was so important.
And it played out. Patrick Reed won that golf tournament because of the short game.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not going to have the same value this week. It's up a little bit, but it's certainly down at the bottom. You know what I like the most about this course, though, Coach, is the finishing stretch. Like you see a lot of movement usually down the stretch. There's some easy holes coming in starting at 13. That's the easiest hole in the course, the par 5. Then it goes to a tough 14th hole. Par 4 plays about 500 yards. But then you got another par 5, the 15th birdie hole. And then you got the easy par 3, 16th this year. I'm going to say easy. Depends on the pin location, but there's not going to be a lot of people around.
No.
Right? So
it's going to be a wedge.
You're going to see some birdies. 17's a birdie hole.
Love it.
Eagle opportunity. And 18, as far as they hit it, I mean, these guys are hitting wedge 9-iron into that too.
Yeah. Don't hit it in the pews. Don't hit it in the pews.
Don't hit it in the pews. But, there's a lot of action coming down the stretch. And you know what my boy Finau did last year down the stretch? He didn't birdie any of them. He didn't birdie any of them. And Webb did, right? And Webb came in, made it happen down the stretch, made some birdies, and he's the defending champion. So that's what the course is going to play. It's going to play fast, going to play furious. Give me good ball striking, but I need someone that can make some putts this week.
To your point, after his round on Sunday, when he was interviewed by Amanda, he said, and it was like overstating the obvious, he goes, clearly my putting needs to be worked on. You think? You missed 2 putts last week that were like 2 feet on the back 9. I mean, he misses more 3-footers than anybody I've ever seen on Sundays in my life and still gets top 5s and top 3s. This dude has got to be so frustrated at this point that he cannot finish these off and probably doesn't even look at his bank account anymore. He's making so much money. But you got to start winning or people are going to keep saying you can't win on the PGA Tour. And then it starts to affect your pride. And the money doesn't matter.
They're already saying that. I mean, he won Puerto Rico, right? I mean, so he can't finish one off since. And it's just all situational. I've been saying it. It's all situational, right? The greats, the guys that win, they put you away. When you're in the situation. He's good enough to get into it, but then he's got to hit a big shot to put some heat on 18, 3-iron in his hand, and he hits it in the water.
I think he's too consistent. Guys that are inconsistent, they win because they can be consistently great one week and then back. He's way too consistent. Yeah. He needs to have these different types of weeks. All right, we've got to get to it now. We've got to get to our picks, and this is what we do every week. We want you at home to play along with us. Send us in your picks if you feel so inclined. Here's what we do. Cody, we have $100. We get to split it up over these 5 picks that we want to play. We had a couple of winners last week, so we had decent. But this week, I feel really good about what we're going to do. So let's start with you. What's your first head-to-head matchup you like this week?
Well, what do you got there, Cody? Bring it up. I've got 2 picks this week. My first one, there he is, my new boy for 2021, Will Zalatoris over Russell Henley. If you watched the preview show back in December, I gave you a couple names, and one of them was Will, right? I mean, Will is the real deal. He is a ball-striking machine. Russell Henley is just goofy golf. When you study like the models, his names come up all the time. His name is up there all the time, right? The models, because he puts up some really good tournaments, and then he puts up some clunkers. It's feast or famine with him. You look at him here last year, he missed the cut. 2019, T15, 18, T11, 17, misses the cut. I mean, it's just like back and forth, right? He missed the cut last week. The week before that, I think he was like T18. The week before that, he missed the cut. I mean, it's just like you don't know what Russell Henley's going to do, but you do know what Will Zalatoris can do. He is a ball striking machine. Let me tell you something. This kid can go. He's got great length off the tee. He's accurate. His approach game is exactly what they told us it was going to be and what he did on the Korn Ferry Tour. And I think what the most surprising thing to me is, Coach, is his putter has been better than advertised. You look at him last week, finished 7th at the Farmers. He gained 3 on the field, strokes gained putting. At the Shriners, he gained just under 1 strokes gained putting. I mean, he's been in the green in putting, and that's always been my question mark as he comes out. I think he's playing with a purpose. He's trying to prove himself. You're looking at the eventual rookie of the year. Big time confidence right now in Will Zalatoris. Minus 125 over Russell Henley. Put $20 on him, Cody.
Well, he finished with that eagle on 18. That certainly jumped him up the leaderboard when you're talking about, everybody being under 10 under par, except for Patrick Reed. So I like that pick. And I'm begging him to put on some weight, though. My goodness, he was like $140 soaking wet.
JT.
All right, my first matchup for this week is going to be Adam Long over Max Homa. This is as much about Max Homa fading as it is Adam Long. Last year he finished 8th here, But Max Homa has had this bad habit of playing really well for 2 days, maybe 3 days, and then just blowing up on day 4. So it's showing up like top 30, top 40 wins. But after 36 holes, he's been like in the top 10. This week, I think he absolutely folds. I would almost bet him, if your book has it, to miss the cut this week. That's how much I think Max Homa is going to fold. So Adam Long likes playing in the desert. He won in the desert a couple of years ago, not in Phoenix, but in the desert. And I think he's going to play well this week. And he had a T3 at Mayakoba, 5th at Corrales, T11 at Houston this season.
Yeah.
So he's in pretty good form. I like him this week over Max Homa.
Yeah, both guys were in the top 10 last year. Long and Homa. You're right about Max. So he will put up the big number. I mean, the car crash, you're just kind of waiting for it.
Yep, no doubt. All right, who's your second tournament pick?
Well, let's go with I've been spending a lot of time on these head-to-heads. I won one last week with my boy Sanjay.
This is where you're going to win all your money, by the way. I know it goes against everything that you believe in golf betting.
Hold on.
But if you want to make money over the long term, it's in matchup.
I was so happy. Sanjay tried double the last. He tried.
It was always like he was messing with you. He was just messing with you.
Oh, he does. It's what he does to me. It's what he does. And then I pushed the other one because Gooch made an eagle at the end. Why am I watching this? They're both T60.
You're texting me. I'm like, what? Where's Sanjay?
I've lost my mind.
Yeah.
My wife's like, why are you so mad? I'm like, Gooch just made eagle.
Really? On 17? No, he's playing the front 9 seconds.
She's like, Taylor's T60. Anyway.
That is so funny. That is
Michael
so
Thompson,
funny.
plus 115 over Brendan Todd. These two guys haven't played here. Todd since 16. Thompson since 2015, right? I mean, two guys that have been out there a while. And I go back to the model. I need a putter, right? And both these guys can roll the rock. We know that.
Oh, big time.
I mean, they can roll the rock. You can take them right down here to the Atlantic Ocean, just kind of smooth out some grass, and they will make putts right there on the beach with all the imperfections that you can go. I mean, they can really go. So I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to get the putter. Okay, now I need to figure out which one I'm going to get the most with the approach game. So I just went into recent form. You look at guys coming in here. Recent form seems to matter here. I mean, it always matters, but it just really feels like it matters a ton coming into this place. Recent form. So I went in there. I did a little more deep diving, and I got to tell you something. Michael Thompson, my goodness. I mean, he's playing some pretty good golf right now. Houston Open, he was 15th. Tournament of the Champions, 21st. Sony, 25th. Last week at the American Express, he was 5th. You know you're going to win in strokes gained putting. I mean, you start seeing these +6 in strokes gained putting, and it's like, can you imagine?
That's crazy.
Can you imagine how fun the game of golf would be if you're that good of a putter? +6, but it just wasn't that stood out. It's his approach game has really been trending nicely. Works with Justin Parsons, who I know very well. He's doing a good job with him. His approach game's improving. I think Michael Thompson's coming in a little bit under the radar here. Todd hasn't played here much. You know he's going to make some putts, but I think Thompson will do more in the approach game and edge out Brendan Todd. Plus 115. Give me 20. My man, Thompson.
Right. I'll give you a comment on Thompson coming up in a minute. Okay. But my second matchup, by the way, I'm going $35 on both of my matchups, Cody. $35. That's where you make money. Now, last week I was bullish on Hideki. He won here in 2016, 2017, and he just never could get things going. But he's my boy. He's my boy. And the one thing you do not do is you don't jump off the Hideki train when you get to Phoenix. This dude loves this track. He plays great here. Harris English, when you pick him for top 20 and you open up your app, and after 2 hours he's +6, you know you probably aren't going to get a top 20 finish. So that was very demoralizing. So I want to double down this week on that bad play, and I'm going to take Hideki -115 over Harris English, who's been playing phenomenal golf this year, and I get that, but I think he's going to regress a little bit. 2 weeks in a row, give me Hideki, and I'm going to take it straight to the pay window.
Man, my goodness, the love is real for Hideki Matsuyama.
I love him. All right, we got to speed it up now. All right, Our last 3 picks. So top 20 for you. Who do you got?
Well, I'm going with the chalk. I'm sorry. I've got to do it. Yeah, I mean,
it's okay. That's not. I mean,
I just, I don't do it every week, but I'll do it. John Rahm.
You're not picking Rahm to go top 20. You're picking
Daniel
top
Berger. 20. My bad.
Yeah, top 20. Top 20.
Goodness. My bad.
I was like, that's not so much.
This is the first time I've done this. So, top 20. Well, I'm kind of going chalk here. Minus 135. Let's just stay with it. Daniel Berger. Daniel Berger, minus 135. $20 on him. When you look at Daniel, right? Let me get into here. Got my model here. I need to pull him a little deep dive here into Daniel. I mean, we've seen him twice now. Okay, we've seen Daniel twice. Tournament of Champions, he was 10th. Sony, he was a 7th. He played really good at Sony. Good putting week. Good off the tee approach game. A little bit under his standards, but Daniel is a guy. 3 wins coming into here. He's got the complete game. Where he struggles a little bit is around the greens. I don't like a Daniel Berger at last week's venue at Torrey Pines. That's not the kind of place that I'm going to play a Berger, but this is the kind of place I will. He's got that shut face, D-lofts it. He can hit that bullet out there, and we know it's going to run here in these fairways. Good iron player. He putts these greens very well. I think he is about as safe a pick as a top 20 this week at minus 135 as our boy Finau was last week, who finished second.
Okay. I don't mind that pick. I'm going to go with plus money, though. And I'm going to go with a guy who's absolutely red hot. Finished great last week at Torrey Pines. And I think he's going to continue to play well. And that's my man, Ryan Palmer, at plus 180. You give me plus money on this dude to go top 20. I'm going to take it all day long. He never really scares the leaders, but he's always hanging around that 14th, 15th place. And I think this is a perfect spot for him to continue. This is about his hot run, not what he's done on this course, about how he's playing right now. So give me Ryan Palmer plus 180. All right, your winner now. You said chalk. Who do you like this week for your winner?
Well, let's chalk it up. There he is. The hometown guy went to Arizona State. Jon Rahm, number 2 player in the world. Rahm right now, he's just like a sports car just sitting there, coach. The engines are firing. It's just purring. And he's ready. He's ready to put it into gear and get the win. And we thought maybe last week was the place. How many times did CBS go to him? He was the last to hit in his group, and he's right in the middle of the fairway, like 315 right down the middle of the fairway. I mean, this guy, it's ridiculous how good he is with his driver. It's ridiculous. I mean, I think I'm putting him number 1. I mean, I think he is exceeding DJ and Rory now off the tee. I mean, it is insane how good of a driver he is. I think the driving game's there. Check. I think the iron game is coming. I think he's dialing in those new irons, right? I think he needs a little bit more precision there. And I think the putter is very, very close. Just positive 1 in strokes gained the last 3 weeks. So just give me a little more approach. Give me a couple more putts. We're going to put it in gear, and off we go. Jon Rahm's going to win before the Masters, and I think it's going to be here right now. He was T16 his first time, T11, T10, T9, just progressively getting better. His boys are there. ASU, people are in the stands. Jon Rahm wins the Waste Management Phoenix Open.
I'm putting him on the bench, and here's why. Last week I had him in a head-up against Xander. You go to the 18th hole, you go into the fairway bunker, and you pull out a 3-wood, and you put it in the middle of the lake out of the bunker. Why in the world would you ever pull a 3-wood out of that bunker? I don't even care. I'm sitting Jon Rahm. So I'm going I knew you were going to go chalk. I knew that Travis Fulton would take the easy way out. So I'm going to go Michael Thompson. I remember last year, middle of the summer, all of a sudden one of the great performances of 2020 was Michael Thompson. And if I hit this, oh man, there's no way you can catch me the rest of the year. No. It's plus 14,000 with all these big names. I think he sneaks up and he scares the lead this week. So give me Michael Thompson plus 14,000.
Wow.
And I feel great about it.
How much you putting on that? What is that? Like $2.50?
$5.
Oh, $5. Okay, cool.
$5.
$5.
Yeah, it's too hard to pick a winner. All right, finally, we only got like 1 minute left. Let's go who your wild card is.
Wild card. Ricky Fowler, top 20, plus 185. Now, I've been on the record in saying, look, I'm a little concerned with Ricky. Where's Ricky at? Where's Ricky at with these swing changes, with John Tillery, wholesale changes, big time changes? You know what? Ricky's just fine. He's hitting the ball pretty darn good. You look at him, strokes gain off the tee the last 2 weeks, +3. Strokes gain approach, +1.5. What's the issue? The putter. Why in the hell did he change putters after the U.S. Open? I get it. He lost 6.5 at the U.S. Open in putting. But since changing putters, it hasn't panned out. I mean, he lost just under 4 last week. So you know what you need? You know what great putters need? And Ricky's a great putter. You don't worry about him getting it back. He's going to get it back. You just need some good old home cooking love where you get on those greens and you know you've had success. Ricky's won here before. But you know what Ricky does on these greens better than just about anybody? And I ran the numbers a little bit deeper because sometimes I go deeper yet into the numbers. And I ran them last 24 rounds, last 36 rounds, last 50 rounds on this golf course, on these greens. Who are the best putters? You know what names come up? You know one of those names? Ricky Fowler. He needs some good old home cooking. He lives in the positive strokes gained putting at this venue. I think the ball striking's coming. I think he's gaining momentum. He just needs to see a few go in. And I think a top 20 is in place. $20. Ricky.
Oh, man. Yeah, when he misses the cut, you're going to get a text from me. All right, finally, my wild card. And this comes from my heart. This is something for me that I feel good about because when Gary Woodland comes back to Phoenix, he gets to see Amy. And we know that relationship that has blossomed over the last 3 years. And so at +500 for a top 10, I'm going to take it all day. He's playing really, really well. He plays well here. So I'm going to take Gary Woodland top 10 all day. And he's going to give a big hug to Amy when he walks off with that T6 on Sunday and high five Michael Thompson and say congratulations on the win. All right, that's going to do it. Remember, we do it every week. We try to do it in 25 minutes or less. We've got Cash Out with the Coaches, brought to you by Sports Pub Media. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Leave us a like, a subscribe, all that good stuff as we grow this great brand. For Cody, for Travis, I'm the coach. And remember, as always, this is the only place where every single week you can cash out with the coach. Dip.